Right, I have tried filming this video twice already. I just can't get my words right, so hopefully this time I will do, and I'm just going to say what is on my mind, and hopefully we'll get to the right thing. Let's start off by saying how I absolutely love what I do. I love being able to see that I can help people, and especially when I hear stories of how people's lives have really changed because of what I do, whether that's online, whether that's in person, it's amazing, and there's no other feeling like it. However, the autism community, as great as it is, there are some parts of it which can make it really scary. A couple of other people have made similar videos like this recently, but obviously I want to chip in and give my version of events because I feel I have got stuff to add to the conversation. One point that has been brought up a lot is the fact that people assume that when I advocate for autism, I am advocating for every single person with autism, and as it's a spectrum condition, that's impossible. I mean, I advocate for my own condition, for my version of autism, and I try to bring in as many examples of people who experience things differently to me, but ultimately that's still only a small percentage of what the spectrum is as a whole. So I can do my best to give my most relatable experiences. However, there will not be one person watching this who has the exact same version of autism as I do. We all experience it differently. There are people in the community who kind of give a different impression. Even though they will preach that it's a spectrum condition, they very much force the fact that you have to fit in it this certain way. It's really hard to talk about this without giving specific examples because I don't want to, you know, spilling tea. That's what I was trying to do, but there's no actual tea in it because acting. It is a very nice mug though, isn't it? Thank you, the National Autistic Society. They gave this me after I did something for them in November. Although, does that mean I've now got to put gifted? We're not doing that. I've just explained the situation. Yeah, easiest way to explain this. I like to think I have a pretty level-headed approach to autism. I'm very aware that it's a brilliant thing, but I'm also very aware that it's still a disability. And some people don't believe it's a disability, and I have made videos on that. And I have said to, like, my audience, that's fine if you have that opinion. If you don't agree with me, cool. The way I have always prided myself on how I approach things is, if I'm addressing facts, I'm addressing facts. There's not really much you can argue about that. If I have an opinion on something, for example, functioning labels, I have made videos on this. I've said I don't like to use them for myself. However, if you do, you do you. Cool. Another example to give, which will help explain my point, is the word Asperger's. I made a video on, like, does Asperger's still exist? I think I titled it, where I said I wouldn't use the word because I was diagnosed with autism formerly known as Asperger's. However, due to changes in how everything works, Asperger's isn't really a term that's diagnosed anymore. It's still in some places, but not everywhere. And in that video, I discussed about how, well, should it still be used or not? And the conclusion was, if you want to use it, yeah, sure. If that's what you identify with, cool, you're not harming anyone. But there are people who attack people for identifying with what they want to identify with, when at the end of the day, is it affecting anyone? No. The autism community is so divided. Like, there's people like me who just, I think I'm probably one of the most laid back with everything. I'm very much, you do you, I'll do me, cool. If we can relate something, that's really cool. But there are so many more militant people who have this idea of what autism is now, and it's a very specific idea. You see a lot of people saying, well, it's not a disability at all, you can't refer to it as Asperger's, you can't use functioning labels, you have got to do this. And quite frankly, you don't have to do anything like that. You don't have to agree with these people. This is me very generalising, but people who I have seen with that approach also tend to have a very aggressive attitude towards it. Like, I don't think I'm an aggressive person at all. Yes, I did threaten to kill a puppet a couple of videos ago, but that's an inanimate object, and I didn't tell people they had to agree with me. However, a lot of people that have this very cookie-cutter idea of what autism is, even though it's a spectrum condition, they will generally have quite an aggressive approach and make people feel bad and down about not agreeing with them, which I think is just completely wrong. I personally find it overwhelming when people are aggressive towards me. So if I spent every single video, like, close up to the camera shouting at you saying, you must agree with this, I don't believe in this, blah, 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 that would be very aggressive, wouldn't it? And that would make me want to turn off. I think that if we're discussing something that's a sensitive subject for some people, let's just have a chilled discussion about it. Let's have an open honesty. That's what we need. We need to be able to discuss our opinions without getting shouted down for not agreeing with other people. And it happens so much in the autistic community that if you don't agree with someone, well, no, you associate with bad ideas. The problem is as well, these are some of the people that say they are representing us all on the spectrum. So when someone sees someone like that, that's what they think we're all like. Militant people, we're not all like that. We don't all think that that the rest of the world is ableist. And it upsets me because it kind of counteracts what I like to put out there. I like to put out the fact there that we're all unique and individual. The thing is, I'm tempted to reach out to some of these people that I know. I'm purposely not naming anyone because I don't want to. Don't want to get into the beefy side of things. Publicly, anyway. In fact, I shall get into this in a second. I'm very much of the opinion though that if we work together, we will create something a lot better. And that means we shouldn't go slagging off groups on the spectrum or people or even organisations. And I know I am kind of being hypocritical there, that I am slagging off a group of people who are very militant with what their idea of autism is, but I don't know. The fact is, I'm okay with them having those opinions. I just wish they wouldn't make people feel bad for not having those opinions. The thing is, as well, there's a lot of attacking on social media about how autism is spoken about online. You know me, I'm not clickbaity, really. I do occasionally, and this one might be considered slightly clickbaity, I don't know. But there's people like, well, you've seen me make the video on the Creative View Divide series where I wasn't happy initially with how Kevin Chapman was using clickbait. It's not clickbait, is it? It's clicky. But anyway, there's a lot of people that don't agree with people who format videos like that. The autistic community see people using this clicky method to get people to watch content as something that's wrong with the autism community. You can't do that. You can't do that to autism, blah, 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 blah. That's not a problem with autism. That is a problem with YouTube. People have to do that in order to get their content seen. And that's fine. You know, there may be some slightly controversial titles out there. And there's people that I'm friends with that do slightly clicky things. I don't agree with their clickiness. I don't agree with the clicky statements that are put out there. But most of the time, you will click on someone's video and they will explain around that. It's just, they have to use these things as an anchor to be able to get people in. But I could start doing clicky videos. But I don't think I'm not bothered about loads and loads of people seeing my stuff. But ultimately, yes, with people doing clicky content, it may annoy a slight percentage, but they're actually reaching a much larger percentage than people who don't. So overall, it may annoy a few people, however, it allows them to reach multiple times as more people in a positive way. Another thing that makes me nervous to put my opinions out there, right, I don't want to go into this too much, but let me just get a prop. We all know of this situation. Yes, I am holding the book because yes, I am making another video on this play. But that's something that will come next week. That was the first time I'd used the hashtag actually autistic in a long while. And what I saw a lot of people uniting on similar opinions. I saw people who would normally be completely against my style of, I don't know. I don't particularly know if there's anything I do which particularly offends people, but oh well if I do. But anyway, I saw legions of people uniting to go against something. I'd like to say yes, my video was slightly, it had a lot of anger behind it, but ultimately I wasn't telling people to boycott it. I was saying, should we? I presented my opinion and I wanted people to make their own opinion from that. I wasn't telling them they had to have that opinion. However, what I saw a lot of online was people on the autistic spectrum attacking people either involved in the play, people who enjoyed the play, saying, you're not allowed that opinion because this offends us. And the thing is, if we are being aggressive towards people who are getting enjoyment for something, surely we're being just as bad, almost. And a lot of the again, I'm not going to go into this too much because I'm going to cover it in the next video, but a lot of what went wrong was not just a communication error on their part. I don't feel we're slightly responsible from it, but I just feel as a community as a whole, we could have had a slightly different approach to make other people more understanding. But anyway, right, I will go more into that in a video next week, so look out for that. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I've got projects in the line which may access different audiences to what I currently have. That doesn't really make sense, but it will do in the future. But what I always try to encourage on this channel is to have open, empathetic conversations. Just try your very best to to try and think about what the other person's viewpoint is. Like, I know it's hard, trust me, I know it's hard. But ultimately, the more understanding that we can give to other people, the more understanding of us they are going to be. So be nice, basically. Everyone be nice to each other and everything will be fine. I think that's about all I can cover on this video. Let me know if you've got any further thoughts on what I've said. You may completely disagree with me. Guess what? If you're going to talk to me in an aggressive manner, I'm not going to respond. But if you can have a calm discussion with me, I'm up for it. Cool. So, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you soon. So goodbye.